Hello, it is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for this Moon Astrology Tarot, this time for the moon in Capricorn. This moon will move into Capricorn late in the evening, early in the morning if you're on the east part of the world, east coast and east part of the world. So March 31st through April 3rd. And we know that the moon is less emotional in Capricorn because the moon is at its just lost my word, not at fault, detriment. There we go. So it's not as strong. I always call the moon in Capricorn the get shit done moon because it's always like, you're not as emotionally attached to things. You're less emotionally reactive to things. And I feel like with this moon in Capricorn combined with the Mars in Pisces, I don't know why I feel so cool about this moon, the Mars in Pisces situation. Mars isn't as strong. Maybe that's why, because I like the feminine and Venus is exalted in Pisces. And the few things that we will have going on here is, of course, the third quarter moon square, where the moon in Capricorn will square the sun in Aries. It will also square Mercury and Chiron, and square the nodes, the north and the south node in Aries and Libra. And Mercury will go retrograde on April 1st, April 1st, around 5 in the afternoon Central Time. I know that's not an April Fool's joke, and it's not an eclipse portal joke. It's for real. Mercury is going to go retrograde right in the middle of eclipse season. He stays retrograde for most of the month of April. So here's what I want to say. Take action steps where you can, and inspired action steps, as in don't be like desperately making actions. This is not a good time to do that. But get really clear with yourself on the things that you want to pursue, right? If that means that your action step is to journal and write down and do some self-discovery and maybe play, tinker, or like try to like build something that maybe you've been dreaming about or daydreaming about. I feel like this could be the time for that, but like it's not like the moment to be like, I am going to change careers. And the reason that I say that, or like I'm going to relocate or whatever, the reason I say that is not only do we have this solar eclipse coming up on the 8th, but we have the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on the 20th. And so hold on to making life-altering decisions because you don't know what's coming. None of us does, right? And I don't mean that in a fear-mongering way. I mean that in like you could get some surprises, right? Particularly if you happen to be one of us in our Uranus opposition. Some of us who have Uranus at 19, 20, 21 degrees Scorpio, maybe even 22 degrees Scorpio, we're in our Uranus opposition. So if you're around about 44, 45, 46, you may be experiencing that, or the after effects of that. And so that's why I'm saying, like, don't make like life-altering decisions. Make decisions, but like make them like small potato decisions. Like, I'm going to try this new way of editing music or editing videos, or I'm going to try to do this new thing or whatever. But like, it's something that you've already been contemplating. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you've already been thinking about trying the thing, and now you're going to just like make it public, right? Rather, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you're just going to tinker with it or play with it. You know what I mean? Because I do feel like this is like an action-oriented moon, but we don't have a lot of action-oriented energy because of the fact that we're in the eclipse portal. The world is certainly upside down. There is a lot of fear-mongering around this eclipse. Please do your best to keep your head on straight about it. I mean, I'm not going to say nothing's going to happen because that would be ridiculous. But what I will say is that the things that may be happening, again, we are in the age of illusion, and we've got a fully loaded Pisces to prove it. And so you don't know what really is happening. And so I really am very strongly about, like, keep your head on straight. You know, this again is a time for self-discovery, learning yourself, knowing what, if you're in a preparation mode, like knowing what you're preparing for, learning what you're preparing for, right? Sometimes I take a slowdown on social media because it's like, okay, I gotta like process through all the things that are coming up for me, right? And so I'll take like a huge break from like posting a lot on social media. I did that recently, just because I was like going through it. I was moving through it. So anyway, so yes, so this moon will square the North Node, Mercury, and Chiron, and the sun, of course, with that third quarter moon square, meaning we are 7 days away from the eclipse on the 8th. And I feel like, if you've got the resources to use this eclipse powerfully, to release your victimhood, release the guilt and shame of, your childhood or past life things or whatever, to really step into and utilize this energy to launch you or catapult you forward. I've said it so many times, like we could all be in a whole different way of being or a whole different world by the end of April. And so, hold on to that. Hold on to that. Journal as if things have already happened. Journal as if you've already manifested the money, or you've manifested the job, or you've manifested the clients, or your book is published. Journal in the present, for the things that you want to create, because we have no clue what's coming with that Jupiter-Uranus situation on the 20th. I, for one, am kind of excited. Like, what is that going to mean for me? So anyway, okay, so that's what I got for the astrology things. I'm excited about this energy. I know it feels weird because everybody's all like scared and whatever, but honestly, I feel like it's such an opportunity. As we head into it, this is going to be definitely like a slow down kind of week with the moon in a waning, past the third quarter moon square, heading into its darkening phase, but I don't know. Life gets to go how you want it to go. So there you go. Let's see what's up with the Star Trek Next Gen Tarot. Be on the lookout for the next episode of Admiral Sarah Chronicles, where I turn science nonfiction and bridge it with astrology and emotional intelligence work and deconditioning and deprogramming and all of those things. And we got the Emperor in reverse, Commander Riker. Yeah, the Emperor in reverse. Commander Riker, the Emperor in reverse is emotional manipulation. So be careful what you're careful who you're trusting right now. Be careful what sources you're trusting. Remember that there is just a fuck ton of hypocrisy being exposed right now. There's just so much truth coming out. This is Pluto and Aquarius. This is we're coming from Pluto and Capricorn, which was all about system structures and whatnot. And we're moving into Pluto and Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about humanity. And but that doesn't mean that like the whatever dark energy or entity or whatever you want to call it, the powers that be, whatever you want to call it, are going to pull every manipulative. It's kind of if you've ever been in an abusive situation, you might understand this. It's kind of like when you are threatening to leave your relationship and that person starts, oh no, I really love you. I really want, I really want to make it right. I'm going to do better and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to make it right. That's what's happening right now. Is we're in that part of the abuse cycle where they're trying to convince you to stay. That's where we are right now, is in that part of that. And I think it's fascinating because, as I was going through my own like deprogramming, deconditioning several years ago, like that's what it reminded me of was like, getting out of my abusive relationship was like, I had, I was like, oh my God, this is like the same cyclical, confusing conversations I had with my ex. And so I feel like that's what this is about and that goes back to keeping your head on straight, trusting, staying in your own lane, trusting in your own path, and where you're going and what you're up to and the things you're up to and being clear with yourself. because the more you're clear with yourself, the more like their cyclical, confusing bullshit can't get to you, won't get to you, because you already see past it. You already see through the illusion that they're trying to uphold. So, yeah, that's interesting. Let's see what's up with the woodland wardens, the animals and the plants and all that. What'd you guys think of the zodiac tea tasting? I would love to know what you thought of that. I might do a follow-up video because the Aries one was kind of confusing because I got my tea shipments in separate timings and I was too anxious to be patient enough on that. We'll see how the Taurus one goes. I might do the videos differently. I don't know. I actually made those videos on TikTok. TikTok is one of my favorite creator apps to make videos because you can do multiple clips within one creation versus like having to create multiple videos and then piece them together in an editing app. So that's my in defense of TikTok. It's actually one of the easiest creator apps that I work with. All right. We got, ooh, the ladybug and the sweet pea. This says happiness. Aw. Connect the dots and find your happiness. Somebody listening to this is going to get that reference. I know that. Okay. The sweet pea, and the ladybug. I mean, I feel like ladybugs are kind of, I don't know, can they be threatening? I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like ladybugs are kind of sweet and dainty, and I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting, but I feel like it's embracing the things that make you happy, embracing, something sweet. There's a card that I've pulled recently that's like, you deserve sugar, not salt, or something like that. And it's true. Like, we all deserve sugar. We all deserve to thrive. We all deserve to soar, and all of the things. And so, the sweet pea is like, whether you like peas or not, I'm sure a lot of people don't, but I do. And I think it's like, you get like the freshest, is a sweet pea an actual pea, or is it a different kind of a plant? I don't know. But like, I don't know. It's kind of like having that like sweetest moment or the sweetest experience of life, right? And we all deserve that. We all get to have that. And so as you're thinking about the action steps you want to take forward right now, again, don't make like life altering decisions, but at the same time, like, choose things that comfort you, that aren't like, detrimental. Like if chocolate's comforting to you, maybe it's having good chocolate, not like Hershey's chocolate, because that's not real chocolate. That's wax covered something. I don't know. It's kind of like, if you've ever had like a real peanut butter cup and you're like, Reese's tastes nothing like that. Well, Reese's doesn't actually have peanut butter in it. So at least see what I'm saying? Like, maybe indulging in something like that. I have been indulging in tea lately, and oh my God, you guys, I'm so in love with my tea situation. So in love. Let's see what's up with the oils. If I had to guess, I would say eucalyptus, because eucalyptus is freedom. But let's see what the card has to say. Oh, bergamot. Brightens spirits and attracts prosperity. Yep, I was just about to say, bergamot brings about abundance. If you happen to like Earl Grey tea, it's your jam. Drink some Earl Grey tea. yeah, or bergamot. It's a sweet, citrusy, but it does have a depth of flavor to it. So if you can get your hands on some Earl Grey tea or even some bergamot oil, use that. You can just inhale the fragrance of bergamot or drink some Earl Grey. Um, that kind of thing. Obviously, I've been getting into teas, so I've had different flavors of Earl Grey, including a Picard Black, which was an Earl Grey, of course. But I have a few other Earl Greys to try. But bergamot does bring kind of a almost like a citrusy orangish fragrance or flavor to the situation. But yes, bergamot attracts abundance. So I really feel like lean into this because Uranus conjunct or Jupiter conjunct Uranus and Taurus is about money and values. And so abundance does not have to be about money particularly, but maybe it's like, abundance of friends. Find out where Taurus is in your natal chart. Maybe it is about money if it's your second house, but maybe it's about the abundance of education or learning, or the abundance of friendships, or the abundance of I don't know, knowing how to do like bartering or whatnot. And so there's that. So we got bergamot, we got the ladybug and sweet pea, and we got the emperor in reverse. So it's all about staying in your lane, right? I feel like that could be the message of this Mercury retrograde, like the whole month of April is like, stay in your lane, do what you're doing and ignore all of the crazy that's going on out there that's trying to fear you into whatever they're going to fear you into, right? Who knows what they're going to try and fear us into next? Are they going to fear us into another watch your words, Sarah, you're on YouTube. Are they going to fear us into staying in our own place? There, I said it without saying it. Are they going to fear us into another contagion? Are they going to fear, what are they going to fear us into? Like, what's the next thing they're going to try and fear us into? Who knows? We don't know, right? But if you stay in your lane, your freedom, your abundance, your whatever you're attracting, right? This emperor in reverse will cease to matter because you've connected the dots, bitch, to find your sweet pea, using that bergamot to attract that abundance, all of those things. So Connect the Dots, bitch, is the name of a podcast. Highly recommend it, actually. The host's name is Amy Fiedler. I do recommend this podcast, Connect the Dots, bitch. You can find it on Apple for sure, probably on other platforms as well. But the host is Amy Fiedler. She was one of the first people that I found on social media that was kind of outside of my circle of coaches, who is a trauma, what is she, like a trauma coach? I don't know if she calls herself a coach. She used to be life coach Amy, or Amy the life coach on Instagram. But you can find her on and her Connect the Dots bitch podcast. But she really helps people learn how to process their traumas and whatnot. And so like emotional trauma, PTSD, things like that. I mean, she's got loads of experience, and she's really, I don't know, I like her. She's super cool. She may be a bit direct, but not like overly so. But yeah, anyway, so go check out that podcast. And since we are talking about breaking up with your victimhood, or at least, stepping away from your victim story, you can always check out my appearance on the Hearts Unleashed podcast with Abigail Gazda, where I talk about breaking up with your victimhood from my own perspective of becoming a blind nomad, and how I, deal with being a blind person in the world as a nomad. And other fun, I don't know, there was some pretty hilarious moments in that. And I also talked about 75 hard, and whatnot. And I've been tempted to do 75 hard again, but I haven't been able to really close my move ring on my Apple Watch very many times this year, and I'm kind of annoyed. So, but I don't know that I have it within me right now to take on 75 hard. But anyway, go check out 75 hard. Go check out Andy Frisella. Holy shit. You want to get your victim bullshit story, like ass kicked out of the way, go check out Andy Frisella, although he's a pretty angry dude. But anyway, and of course there's like David Goggins and Jocko Willink and E.T. the hip hop preacher, these kinds of guys who, you know, really are good empowering speakers and leaders to talk about, you know, releasing, getting out of your own way of your victim story and whatnot. And so, anywho, that was a big, huge like detour to get to the end of this video, but it just came out. I guess it was meant to be. Somebody needed to hear it. So I do recommend all of those people. Go listen to them. They're all either on podcasts or on YouTube or on socials and whatnot. Jocko Willink has a book called Extreme Ownership. I highly recommend that book. I love that book. I think I rented it from the library on audio, but I'm sure it's on Audible by now. I know I rented it years ago. So, but anyway, I highly recommend it. David Goggins has several books on Audible. I don't know about Andy Frisella or ET, but these people are passionate about you being successful and you really surpassing your victim story. So anyway, maybe that was necessary and important for somebody who ever needed to hear it. There it was. All right. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you on the next Moon Astrology Tarot. Have a great one.